I'm 39, and my wife of 3 years is starting to change the way she behaves with me. She's been in touch with her mother lately, and it worries me because I know that her mother is one cunning person. Mom always told me that she felt something was off with Monica, but I refused to believe her because my brother said that she was never like that and that it was just because she's aging. Hi, my name's Immanuel. Allow me to embark on a little storytelling journey about how I ended up marrying Monica. I met her in a supermarket about 7 years ago. I saw her as it was love at first sight. I could not even believe that I was in love, as I'd promised myself that I would no longer fall in love. When starting to go out, we would hardly have anything to talk about because she was not educated. Everything about her was just so different. Even her eating was different. I would always adore her as she would dive into her dish and devour the food like an animal. Even though she was poor and uneducated, I loved her because she was real with me and she hid nothing from me. That's when I learned that she had dropped out of school to help her mother at home after her father died, since he was the breadwinner of the household. After a year of going out, I decided to take full responsibility for her and take her back to school, and I enrolled her into a community college. And after her mother met Monica, she was disgusted to see her. She asked why I was okay with burdening myself. Mother could not understand how and why I had been refusing cute girls in my class and fell in love with a, quote, extremely low-class person. I did not care about what she said, because I knew that what I felt for Monica was true love. After Monica showed me how much she was passionate about learning, I enrolled her in university, and she was such a quick learner. She had been enrolled in the communications field, and I supported her unconditionally. I went the extra mile to hire private tutors for her. A year before her graduation, I proposed marriage, and she readily accepted without hesitation. Her mother was so happy for her, and she could not hold back her tears when we announced that we were going to get married. My mother, on the other hand, kept telling me that Monica only wanted my money. I talked to my brother about it, and he said, and I quote, "Mother's getting pretty old. You don't have to take to heart everything that she says." Well, I put in my head and made sure to ignore everything that my mother said from then on out. Monica and Bob have never met because he travels a lot for business. We mostly only talk on the phone. Apart from that, Bob is my half-brother, and he grew up with his father and his family and only came to visit us when it was a summer holiday. I never failed to mention him to Monica, though, because he was my inspiration, and as in any other big brother, I wanted to be like him one day. His passion and desire for business were so strong that today he owns successful multinational companies everywhere. Who would not want to be like him? Anyways, I wished he was there with Monica and I became one, but he could not make it. Monica suggested that we just postpone the wedding to a day that Bob could be there, but I decided that one monkey could not stop the show, as they say. And so Monica moved in with my mom and me after we got married. Monica's mother was not happy with the fact that her daughter was leaving her because there would be no one to help her around the home. I offered to pay for a maid and gave her a monthly allowance, and she agreed. Though she asked for more money, it did not really bother me. Even though her mother did not visibly ill-treat Monica, she was intolerant. And so we decided to buy a new house and moved in immediately after. Mother was sad, and that made her dislike Monica even more because she believes that Monica took her darling son away from her. Last year, Monica applied for a job at a different firm, and she almost gave up, but I had a feeling that she was about to get a job. I hired a professional graphic designer to make her a proper resume, and she was employed in no time. She could not thank me enough. She's always made me feel like a good man because I know that I've changed someone's life for the better. Ever since Monica got a job, Her mother has been insisting on moving in with us, and I honestly don't know why she is. It's not that I have a problem with her moving in, but I want my house to be only ours with my wife. Laura demanded that I, to her, add to her monthly allowance, as apparently her needs have increased substantially. I did so without questioning her because she is my mother-in-law. Lately, our company has been doing well financially, and I fear that some of our team members might lose their jobs, but I believe that we will get back on track sooner than we expect. At least that's what our boss tells us. I've been a manager for about 5 years now, and I have quite a lot of knowledge about public relations. I'll update you guys soon. I have to go now. Update number 1. It's been 2 weeks since my last post. Do you remember me telling you about how I feared losing some of my teammates at work? Yeah, well, it turned out it was all of us. I still can't understand how he went bankrupt. I mean, I could have sworn that my boss is a respectable man, and a well-known one, too. I've worked at that company for 8 long years, with 3 promotions, and I've even became my boss's favorite employee. We also became close with him, and he would tell me about the situation at home, and I don't get why he did not feel the need to tell me that the company was facing some problems. We would have tried to bring something up as a team to prevent it from dying out. He did not feel the need to tell any of us, and now that we have lost all our jobs, how are we going to live? I was aggravated after receiving my letter, so I decided to go for a drink. I had way more drinks than planned, and the next thing I knew, I woke up at home, and I did not know how I got there. I woke up with a headache and a disappointed wife right by my side, and I quote you this. "Is there something you want to tell me?" She asked me with a fairly angry face, and I thought that she had seen the letter that we got from the company, but I was very wrong. "Can we talk about this after you get me some painkillers and a glass of water, please?" I said to her, and it made her even more mad. I could not understand until she finally threw her theory into my face that I was cheating. I did get her point, though, because I don't usually drink like that, plus I'm a wine person, and because I was wasted from drinking gin and whiskey. She believes that I have a drinking buddy. Crazy, right? "I received a call from a woman to come and get you from a bar because you were wasted. I found you on the floor like a homeless dog. This is not like you. Am I not enough for you? Did I perhaps do something that you're not happy about? And it made you feel like you should get someone new to talk to? I've known you for almost a decade. And this is not the person I've dated. Most definitely not the man who sent me to school and brought out the best in me." The more she talked, the more she started feeling sorry for me, and I directed her to my bag that I always carry for work, and that's when she found the letter. She could not believe it herself, and immediately regretted thinking that I was cheating. Even though she felt sorry for me, she looked at me like she was superior. I must say that I really hated that look. I could not really tell what was going through her mind at the moment, but it did make me feel good. For once, I thought of what my mother said, and I began to believe it slowly. "Oh, don't worry, honey. If you don't get a job soon, then I will take care of you just like you did. You don't even need to work. Maybe losing your job is a sign that you should let me take over and sit back a little and relax." It sounded like she was assuring me that she had my back. And at the same time, it felt like she was celebrating my failure. It was very confusing, especially for a man with a hangover and such a bad headache. Ever since I've lost my job, all I want to do is drink and forget how bad it feels to be unemployed. I don't know how long this will go on. I really need to find a job soon because this might just swallow me whole. Update number 2. It's been 2 months since my last update, guys. I'm sorry, but life is really whooping me. Pretty bad. My mother-in-law, she has moved into our house, and I don't feel at home anymore. Even after we agreed that our parents should not move into our house, she went over and decided to let her mother stay. I asked why Laura decided to come with us, and she said it was because I may have lost my job. I've not sent her money in a while, and she could no longer keep up with the house expenses. So she decided to mortgage the house and stay with us. Ever since Laura moved in with us, she's been trying to make my life a living hell. My mother-in-law is a cunning woman, and she's slowly turning my wife against me. A few days ago, when Monica came from work, she found me sitting at the table browsing through the internet, trying to find a job. She was not happy to see me as any other day, and I thought maybe she had to, have a bad day at work or something, so I stood up to embrace her. But instead, she pushed me away. She had never actually done that, so it did leave me a bit puzzled, you see. And when I followed her to the room and asked her what I have done wrong, since everyone says that, quote, behind every mad woman, there's a man who's completely having no idea what he did. She told me that I'm making her mother uncomfortable in the house because I don't help her out and I keep making her do all the chores. I've never actually told your mother to work herself off, and she's never complained to my face that I did something wrong. I don't understand what you mean, honey, I said to her as I kept wondering and trying to recall an incident such as that explained by my wife. Ugh, you don't have a job. I'm trying to work hard to sustain us, and here you are, mistreating my mother. You stay home all day and you do nothing. If my mom is not happy with your laziness, then you have to change and help her out at home. You cannot be sitting there doing nothing while I work my butt off for you. Until you find a job, I would like you to take over cleaning and gardening, and Mother will deal with the cooking. Well, she said this to me as she placed her purse down, and I could have sworn that she forgot who the owner of the house was. Just because I no longer go to work does not make me a maid. And in case you forgot, I'm still the head of the household, so mind the way that you talk to me. I replied to her and she just laughed at me and said, that is how now turned, and I should stay at home like the wife while she works like the man of the house. I'm deeply offended by that. I would always help out my wife with preparing dinner and when it was just the two of us in the household. And when her mother moved in, she would usually help out with the dinner and other chores. She was never happy to see me sitting quietly doing nothing, and so she told her daughter that I abuse her by making her do chores all day long, while I sit comfortably on the couch watching TV. She portrayed me as a bad person to her daughter. I was so mad at her that I decided to confront her about it, and she said that she would not allow her daughter to be married to a broke, jobless person. I never knew that people could be so ungrateful. She's been trying to break us up, and it's actually disturbing my peace. She's forgotten how I turned her daughter into something. If it weren't for me, they would still be living the way they've been living before I met Monica. I did not get her educated because I wanted to, be put on the throne or worshipped by them. But this is the least way I expected them to treat me. I have not had the courage to tell my mother about it because she would be very mad at me and simply scold me for being naive when she tried to warn me about Monica. Now, I have to carry the cross of going against my mother's wishes. I've applied for so many posts, and I don't seem to be going through with any of them. I've even applied for the ones below my line of work, because everyone in the industry knows now why our company closed down. They're hesitant about making any of us part of their crew. Update number 3. It's been a year. Hey, so guys, it's been a while since I've updated, and you're probably wondering why I haven't updated in a year. I'd gone into a mental and emotional breakdown after what Monica and her mother did to me. So this is what happened. Let me go ahead and tell you. After having an argument with Laura about her daughter, She decided to poison her mind and convinced her to divorce me, and in the argument, Laura insinuated that I was with her daughter because I wanted to own her and her money. She said that I already knew that my job was not going to last, and that's why I made her daughter my wife, so that I would have somewhere to survive when I lost my job. Laura had been a pain in the gut, and even though it was painful to let go, I now know that it was well worth it. I'd rather cry and heal than knowingly keep a scorpion in my shirt. Monica was so easy to penetrate. Her mother did not even need to deeply lie to her. I've never been so disappointed. Her mother began telling her that I was demanding money from her, and I kept threatening her that if she did not give me the money, I would throw her out of the house. Her dear daughter believed her without a doubt in the world, as usual. Monica came to confront me, and I told her the truth. I was innocent, and her mother was just trying to break us up. She defended her mother without even considering her words towards me. And for the first time in my life, I actually raised a hand at a woman. She spoke to me with no respect, and I would say that it made me something I'm not. I've always been nothing but nice to Monica and her mother. I guess you can never domesticate a beast by feeding it. It'll still hunt you down when it's hungry. I had no idea that her mother was eavesdropping when we argued, and she used it to her advantage in fighting for the divorce. Just a few days after the argument, Monica came to me with a pile of papers and asked me to sign them. Well, I had no idea what they were until I went through them. I was shocked to see that Monica wanted divorce from me without even talking about it. I begged her to talk it out about it as the divorce is not a solution, but instead she said these words to me. You are no longer working, and I cannot be working to feed the both of us when it's supposed to be the other way around. I don't feel financially safe with you, and by the way, I'm still very young to be suffering like this. After she said that, I knew that it was most definitely her mother's work, because she made it crystal clear to me. Before that, she would not allow her daughter to stay with a jobless man. When we went to court to finalize our divorce, I lost almost everything, including the house and my car. All were given to her as a compensation for the, quote, abuse. Can you guys believe it? I simply raised my hand once without even touching her, and I was charged with abuse? The lawyer told her to open a case, but her mother said it would be better if her daughter took everything she owned instead. And the court agreed to let her keep everything. I was only left with a quarter of the money I earned my whole entire life. When we came from court, Monica and her mother chased me out of the house, and I was left with no other choice but to go back to my mom's house. When my mother saw me, I could see that as much as she was disappointed in me, she was trying to suck the anger out of me so she could go and face Laura. I was overwhelmed with sadness, and I could not even have a proper meal. Mother has been so worried for me. What can I do when life has shown me the worst side? I know people would say that all you can do is get back on your feet, but it's easier said than done, you know. I've been living with Mom for a year now, and every day has been a challenge, as I never knew that I would burden her again. She had to raise me and send me to school, and here I find myself again. I've been drinking so much that I'm intoxicated every single time. Where is the karma that people talk about? And I've been seeing flames in life, but no good spark at all. Update number 4, 6 months later. Hey guys, so it's actually been about 6 months since my last update, and all I have done so far is complain and blame others for my pain, right? Well, I felt sorry for myself instead of doing something about it to change my situation. My brother came to visit Mom as he usually does, and he was surprised to see me back at her house. He thought I was only paying her a visit, so we discussed it over dinner. I was so happy to see him, and so we decided to make Mom her favorite meal. That was also for us to catch up. My brother knew that our company had closed, but he thought I had found a job already, which is why I did not reach out to him. He was filled with more questions as I explained, and I was open to answering them, and I quote you this. Why did you choose to come back home? Where is your wife? Is she not working yet, or has Mom refused to let her stay in this house? I have so many questions right now, bro. My brother asked as he tried to put bits and pieces of my situation together. Let's just say that Mother was right. Her inner self warned her about Monica and her mother, and I ignored her because I thought she was just getting paranoid. I had to learn the hard way, I guess you could say. Monica was brainwashed by her mom, and she decided to get a divorce. They accused me of assault, and I was charged in court, which left me absolutely penniless and homeless too, brother. I swear women are not nice people, brother. I wiped a tear from the side of my face as I took a deep breath. Bob sympathized with me as he got me a glass of water. One thing I did not tell him is that I was almost definitely an alcohol addict at this point, and after a whole day of laughter and storytelling about our childhood days, Bob decided he would stay the night. I became anxious because I had so many whiskey bottles that I hid them in my room after my mother decided to throw them out of the kitchen to prevent me from accessing them. We then went to bed, and Bob asked why I looked so anxious. He placed his hand, on my shoulder and said, I know it must have been hard for what happened with Monica, but I promise you I will help you get over it, even if we need to buy you an island. He smiled as he joked about the island, and I also gave him a slight smile to convince him that I was okay. I waited for him to fall asleep, but he was a tough one. I could not handle it anymore. So I pulled a bottle from a basket in the closet and started to drink. For a moment, my brother thought it was a prank, but I was not stopping, and I was drinking it like water as I broke into a sweat. He finally noticed that I was dead serious, and he hit the bottle right out of my hands, and it fell to the ground. It woke my mother up, and she rushed to our room, and I got mad at Bob and just decided to get another bottle from the basket. That was when he understood that I was an addict, and it was past my drinking time, so I was starting to crack. He then pulled out the basket and threw all the bottles out the window. We began to fight over the bottle in my hand, and when he took it, I broke into an episode and was rushed to the hospital. A day went by of me being unconscious, and then I woke up. My mother was right there by my side, and before I could say a word of apology, she explained why she decided to throw away the whiskey bottles in the house when I moved in. She explained how her father went through the same situation until his liver could not take it anymore. She knew that I was almost on the same path and even tried to save me. After I was discharged, we all agreed that it would be best if I can get into a rehab center. My brother took care of the payment and made it as comfortable as he possibly could, and this is my 5th month here with no taste of alcohol, and I'm so proud of myself. Of course, I do have bad days, but I've learned to control my urges and temptations, and I've made peace with what Monica and Laura did to me. And that helps me give up my escape plan for alcohol. So, I have 1 month before I'm out of here, and it's lunchtime. I'll get back to you soon. See ya, folks. Update number 5. It's been a year since my last update, and this will be my final post to you guys, and you cannot believe how great my life is going right now. So, after I left rehab, my brother gave me 6 months at home to see if I was completely clean. And he sent me someone to check up on me, and then he realized that I was so clean that I was even disgusted by a neighbor consuming any kind of alcohol. After he learned that I was, he decided to pay me a visit, and the visit changed my life for good. He said that he wanted to expand his business to an international level, and he would be in and out of the country, so he needed a CEO for the business in town. He smiled as he gave me papers to sign, and I did not hesitate to do so. I've decided to pick myself up, even though it meant getting help. My brother has been my inspiration my whole life, though we have never been extremely close because of the distance. All my life, I've always thought that he worked his way up the ladder with no help at all. I was wrong, and I got to understand that all people are interdependent. I was so happy that my situation was finally changing after years of unemployment. Apart from getting employed, the salary is 3 times what I got when I worked as a manager. I could not believe I was about to walk back into my real life once again and started to work a week later. And everything was going well. And then one day something funny happened. I decided I would host a meeting with all my staff to get to know them and assign new tasks, and it was my surprise to see Monica as part of them. I tried by all means to act normal. After Monica learned that I was her new CEO, she started sending me text messages asking for forgiveness. I just ignored her text, and after 2 weeks of texting and calls from her, I decided to block her. After she realized that I had blocked her, she started sending notes and presents to my office. I kept giving them away to my staff to get on her nerves. I told my brother about how unprofessional she was, and he said that I'm the boss. I can do whatever it is I want to ensure a good work environment. I had to call Monica in for a disciplinary hearing. She did not think that I was capable of doing such. And after the hearing, she stormed off, and a few days later, her mother showed up to ask for forgiveness of her daughter's behalf. I called security on her, and I was forced to fire Monica as she had not changed her behavior at all. Although I had made peace with what they did to me, it was kind of satisfying to teach her that unemployment is not very easy, is it?
So I can't help but just think about this for a second, guys. Put yourself in Immanuel's shoes. He's going through a rough time, he loses his job, his mother-in-law's giving him a hard time, and his own wife. So I am so happy with the beautiful karma that we get towards the end of the story when Immanuel becomes a new CEO at another company, and his ex, well, she's working there, and she tries to do everything she can to reconcile, and Immanuel's not having it. And he takes it a bit further and says, you know what? You're fired. I don't want you here. You're getting reprimanded. You can leave. And guys, I thought that was hilarious because, well, she deserved it. But I do want to hear from you guys what exactly you thought about this perspective towards the end of the story. And say, for instance, you were in Immanuel's shoes. How would you go about handling it? Let me know your comments in the comment section down below. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories every single day. If you guys want to be a part of the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.